Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we're just going to do a video talking about some underrated Switch games. So without further ado, let's find out what those games are. The first one on the list then is going to be Ultra Age. Now this is an RPG light stroke action adventure game. Let's cut a long story short. You take control of a character called Age, and it's your job to try and save the planet / world. You must remember that this game was actually created by 3 or 4 people, and when you've got such a small team like that to create a masterpiece like this, it's unbelievable. If you like the games Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, you'll definitely really enjoy this one. If you do want to pick this up, there is a physical copy. It ranges from between £30 and £40 in the UK, and on the eShop this one's going to set you back £26.99. Secondly then, we're going for Boldo. A fantastic game, but it had a horrible release. Basically when it first came out, it had glitches and bugs and a few game breaking bugs, so the reviews just absolutely ruined it. That's all been fixed now. There's a huge free update for the game as well, so don't let those original reviews put you off. The game is heavily inspired by Zelda and the films of Studio Ghibli. It is a really awesome puzzle solving action adventure game, particularly if you're a fan of the kind of handheld Zelda games and then the sort of probably up to N64 Zelda games in particular. On the eShop, it's going to set you back £22.49. There is a physical version of the game if you are able to find it, and there's also a whole new DLC which is free called Boldo and the Three Fairies, so loads of content there. And as I said, just ignore those original reviews. Play it now, all the patches are out, free DLC, definitely worth picking up. Now the reason I've chosen Monster Hunter Stories 2 is just because if this was the only Monster Hunter game on the Switch, it would be shouted about across the rooftops, everyone would talk about it. But whenever you talk about a Monster Hunter game on the Switch, you assume it's about Rise. So someone says to you, have you played Monster Hunter? You're not thinking this game. So that's why it's underrated. It's just overshadowed by Monster Hunter Rise purely because of how good that game is. This is still a fantastic game in its own right, but it's just overshadowed by, I guess, its much bigger brother. This is a turn-based RPG. And the colours look fantastic, particularly if you're playing them in handheld mode on the OLED. You get to hatch monsters from eggs, you get to ride around on monsters. It is a really fantastic game, and it's something completely different from the mainline Monster Hunter series. This one is going to set you back £50 on the eShop, but it does go in the sale every now and again, so maybe wishlist it. Otherwise, you can find it physically for between £35 and £40. Next up then, we've gone for Snowrunner. Now, I wasn't a huge fan of this game, but I can really appreciate just how good of a driving sim this is. So if that is something you're into and you maybe haven't picked this up, or you're looking for a really realistic driving sim, this one's definitely going to be for you. The game sees you try to complete tasks, so driving through different terrain, using different vehicles, picking up different loads and having to use specific lorries in order to complete those missions. So it really does go into a lot of detail, and I would say there's a very steep learning curve for this one. If you've never played a driving sim before, you might be a little bit overwhelmed, but once you do get the hang of it, you can have hours and hours of fun on this game. You can get this on the eShop for £35.99. Otherwise, it's going to set you back about £20 if you want to pick this one up physically. Last one on the list then is going to be Panzer Dragoon the remake, which was originally a Sega Saturn game which came out in about 93 or 94. It's a rail shooter, it's very arcadey. You take control of a hero who is on the back of a dragon and it shoots laser beams, and you can control the movement slightly, but as you're controlling the movement, that is also your aiming. So it is a little bit complicated to begin with, but after you've played stage 1, you'll get it straight away, and it's really fun. You can complete this game in about an hour, but it's great just to have on the Switch and maybe duck in and out, 10-20 minutes at a time, something like that. It's a little bit overpriced. It is $22.49 on the eShop. I actually picked it up for £2.50 a couple of weeks ago. So do save it on the wish list and just wait for a sale, because once it drops down to below a tenner, definitely worth having on your Switch. That's it from me then, guys. So these are just some games that I think are really underrated on the Switch. Let me know in the comments below what games you think are really underrated. If you're new, obviously hit subscribe, give the video a like, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care, everyone.